Cutting scale guys, Nexas here and welcome back to Destiny 2. And in today's video guys, we're here, more prophecy sort of stuff to go over. If you don't know, of course, the prophecy update is going to be coming realistically next week. It's actually that fast. I didn't realize it's going to be that quick into March. But the prophecy is going to, of course, be coming back with updated loot pools. And the thing about them updating the loot pool is great and everything. It's really nice for new weapons. But it means some weapons are either leaving or getting somewhat changed. So if you don't know, we are going to lose, of course, the Last Breath auto rifle. We're going to use the Long Walk sniper rifle, and we're going to lose the Swift Verdict sidearm. So again, these are some great ass weapons. They're going to be disappearing. So I will be going over them the next few days because this week they've actually changed the featured dungeon to, of course, prophecy. They pushed it last night after the reset and everything like that. So yeah, you'll see here prophecy is going to be the featured dungeon this week, meaning that you can farm this to your heart's content. Keep on farming it. The loot will just keep on dropping. So if you really want to get your god rolls, this is the best week to do it. They did change it because obviously once this change happens for next week in terms of the prophecy update, you won't be able to get these weapons back and everything. So it is nice that they're letting people farm out, but that means that you got to probably do it by, of course, next reset and everything. And the weapon we're going to look at today isn't one that's going to be leaving the loot pool per se, but it is going to be getting changed in terms of damage type, which realistically is really rare, and also you want to kind of have both. So we're going to be going over the Darkest Before pulse rifle. Now this is an, of course, arc pulse rifle, but yeah, this is going to be getting turned to solar, of course, with the prophecy update, meaning that the arc version is going to be no more. And it's not really a case of like the Swift Verdict and everything leaving the loot pool, maybe coming back. This is leaving the loot pool in terms of being an arc weapon. So you won't be able to get the arc version of this anymore, which for me is super weird, super rare. It kind of reminds me, of course, going back to vanilla D1 when we had multiple weapon, or the same weapon with multiple different like elemental types. But the Darks Before, this is just one of my babies. It's one of the greatest pulses ever, and it's such a it's so weird that it's getting changed to solar, but this is why you need to get your hands on just an arc roll. It doesn't have to be the greatest roll because there isn't that many great rolls on it, but at least have an arc one in the vault. So if you ever really want to get a good pulse that's arc, this is one to look at. So without further ado, let's go into some PvP with the Darkest Before pulse rifle. Alrighty, so we are going to, of course, be on a freaking Midtown with the Darkest Before, and this is what it's going to look like and everything. Pretty nice ass pulse or whatnot. A really cool ass scope. Wait till you see this. Whoop. There we go. There's a pulse. It will be highlighting sort of scope as well because all these sorts of weapons are, and you'll see that the RPM on this is going to be a bit cray. I'm not going to lie. The RPM is so freaking high on this weapon. Ah! Freaking fist them up, dogma. But yeah, the RPM is gonna be nutty on this. It's a 540 and everything like that. And these can do really well PvP. I will definitely admit when it comes to 540s, they're not exactly the meta right now. I still do think they can go in. But Darkest Before and everything, you don't really see Hardest Least either. They're both sort of arc 540s. I will say too, specifically with the Darkest Before, this did not get exactly any god rolls. I mean, it got some rolls. I'll get this guy real quick. It got some rolls, of course, that are pretty nice for PvE and everything. But when it comes to, of course, the weapon, you can shred, but it definitely didn't get any sort of like insanely good PvP rolls, and it still had full auto on it too, which is just pointless. But when this first came out, when it was back in Trials 9 day and everything, this thing was an absolute animal. One of the most surreal freaking pulse rifle metas that we've ever really had. Darkest Before was legit the be all end all of freaking god tier weapons, and it's still going to go in for you right now. Now this is not as detrimental when I'm saying you need to get this or anything. It's not as detrimental obviously as some of the other weapons that are leaving because this is just getting changed to solar. The only thing about this weapon is though is that I didn't even get one of these. Oh my god, he's there. There's a double kill. But it's not really about this being leaving the loot pool or anything. There will still be this weapon. There will be some rolls in it. You might lose some rolls obviously because this is going to be changed to solar. But it's more just to have one of each type of damage type. So if you want to go in with an arc build and you want to use like a pulse rifle, I know you got Hardest Least, but you don't want to be missing out on like a potentially good weapon because obviously the damage type just dropped or changed or whatever. You can kind of see, freaking igneous in my ass. We can still kind of see this thing can absolutely wreck, and it's different to the Hardest Least for me anyway in terms of feeling. It has a really sick ass scope and whatnot, and I just really like the Darkest Before as an arc weapon. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be excited for it to come back as solar, but as an arc weapon, it can just go in really well in terms of if I went in, of course, in PvE even. So, Muchachos here, though, we get one. He gets shredded. Do not let them get heavy, boys. I really just do not want to get hit by a freaking auto or a rocket launcher or anything like that. But you can definitely see this pulse rifle. It can absolutely blast people so freaking quickly. Like, the RPM on this is kind of nutty. I know stability is kind of going out the window, and that's honestly because of my role. And I also don't exactly have elemental capacitor or anything like that, so I can't really make the stability any better. But I still will say that the pulse rifle, it still feels pretty nice when you hit your crits with this sort of weapon. Oh my god, can you delete now? We are clown carning. Oh, a clown carning. Oh man, I can't speak. clown carring the freaking hell out of these guys. We're legit all just in a group just blasting people. Look at this guy. Oh no, there's 2 of them. Well, you can see the shred is just there. It's so freaking sweet to go in with Dark before. Oh, it's just a fun weapon. I mean, Harris Least is there. I know it's a nightfall reward, of course, for usually the corrupted strike. I know it's still there and everything like that, but it's still like, it's still, it just feels different to this one. This with full auto, it just reminds me of back in the day when this was meta. I think it's definitely worth getting. As I said, it's not as detrimental probably as maybe getting like the long walk or Swift Verdict because they're leaving the loop pool or whatnot. But I still will say that it's still worth kind of getting a rollout because it's just nice to have the different sorts of weapons. Oh, we drop down and oh, oh, we go again. We just get the next guy. Where's he gone? Yo, oh, you killed him. Nice. But yeah, it's not as detrimental as maybe some other weapons to kind of get your hands on right now in terms of farming out. But if you're going to be farming out for any weapons anyway, you might as well try to get your hands on the Darks before. Now, I actually don't even know what... Oh my god, really? The solo freaking blade barrage? I haven't even popped my well yet, and these guys are popping a super in my ass. But I don't even know what kind of encounter you need to go to of course get this weapon. There is, I think it's probably the last one. Most likely is because it's one of the better weapons. That's generally how it actually goes. If it's a good weapon, it'll be like the last freaking encounter you gotta freaking do. Oh, boys, you got him. Don't worry. But yeah, I will still say overall that this Pulse Rifle, it's just a really nice sort of arc pulse and everything. Get yourself some decent rolls on it, especially PvE and everything. And it would be really, really sweet. Now, there is people everywhere. Look at this guy. Come on, repeat this, buddy. Oh, I say so pissed. We got 5 bullets. That's 1 kill, right? 4 headshots, boys, right? 4 headshots, 4 headshots. There we go. I got my extra little bullet back. You know, screw this. Oh, this is a power well placement. Oh, this is a power well placement. We'll get him now, though. Oh, peek me again, buddy. Peek me again. Peek me again. Yo, bro, Smiley. Stop smiling over there. Get your ass back here. He's in a corner. Oh, I say there's some out of plonked a well in their spawn. I'm gonna multiple muchachos here, though. We get the one. Yo, buddy. Oh, we're hitting him. We're hitting him. I got the ricochet. Man, I've actually never really gotten ricochet kills like that. We'll get him now, though. But yeah, I just will say overall, this Pulse Rifle, it is actually really, really sweet. You can definitely see. He's 1 HP, boys. But you can definitely see when you kind of get it going in the right engagements and everything. 450s or 540s can just absolutely shred out. I know it's competition and whatnot, and people will definitely be saying to go in with, of course, Harris Least or something like that. But I still will say that do not sleep on the Darks before as an arc weapon. I think that it's really, really nice. You'll probably see it being a little bit more, I'd say, better in PvE maybe as 540s go. But overall, as I said, it's a really unique sort of weapon in terms of obviously its arc as well. And you don't want it to, you know, not have it and then it turns to solar and you never get an arc version again. You want to just have one of each. As I said, it's gonna be a unique weapon basically. Alrighty, time for the PvE side things, of course, with the little Darks before and everything. This is where it's probably going to be a lot more relevant as an arc weapon, of course. I mean, realistically, PvP, even if we get the other version, unless you're going in with like a full-on arc build, don't really matter too much. You can definitely see solar is going to be great PvE. But if we do have mods and everything next season, when it comes to the final shape, or if arc just becomes like a really meta sort of subclass in PvE, it's gonna be nice to kind of have this because this isn't getting sunset. They're just changing the freaking damage elemental type. You can kind of already see in a nice arc build, it can be really, really sweet. So I will just say that is the only reason I'm kind of saying this is your last chance for this Pulse Rifle, because once the elemental type changes, I don't think I've ever seen it change back to something else, which is really kind of makes this like maybe a trophy, if you will, but it'll make it really unique, and it's not going to be sunset, so you still will be able to focus into this and everything. So as far as like a 540 sort of pulse goes, I still do think that this will be a really nice sort of one-two pick up. Like you can see, PvE is definitely where this will shine a lot more, especially with the role I've got with Unrelenting and of course Subsistence. It will 100% be a lot better as a weapon. Like you see, really clean ass scope, really decent ass damage and everything, and also it does of course have the arc kind of going for it as well. So I 100% will say that it's worth getting if you're gonna put time into the dungeon at all this week for the other weapons. It's gonna be worth getting yourself some rolls of course the Starks before, even just to have 1 or 2 maybe, just in case when it comes back as a solo weapon, if it doesn't have any decent rolls of solar, you can kind of default back to an arc version of it. But you can definitely see it in a nice arc build. You can go in, of course, got my Vesper Radiance on, so every time I pop a rift, everything just starts arced and I get amplified kind of going the whole time. Get my freaking what's called arc damage kind of going too. It's just overall, it's just really, really nice in a nice arc build. That's what I'm saying, that it's gonna be super, super sweet to have an arc version of it. You always kind of want to have multiple damage types to the same one. It's always a shame from when we had D1. any weapon could be anything it ever wanted to be. But now this one will have 2 of them. The only one you'll be missing is really Void. I will say as well that definitely when it comes to this sort of pulse rifle, like the Dark Spore in particular, the roles it does have from this Prophecy dungeon is definitely going to be more PvE orientated. Not gonna lie, when it comes to PvP, it doesn't exactly have an absolute stellar amount of rolls. I'd be sitting here going, oh my god, you gotta get this PvP. Like, no kill clip definitely makes it a little bit harder to kind of suggest over other pulses and whatnot. But that's the thing, is that this is definitely going to be geared more toward PvE, especially because I'm talking about the elements and everything changes. So I definitely be looking more to get this in PvE, because PvE wise I have some really nice ones. Like you see, I've got Unrelenting, it's got Subsistence, it has the Capacitor, Rampage and whatnot. So PvE, it definitely has better rolls. And that's the only reason you don't see this weapon often PvP, okay? In PvP, if this had like a kill clip roll and maybe like I don't even really know what, a rapid hit or something like that, I'm telling you right now, this will 100% be used a lot more. It's legit just that the rolls aren't as particularly good PvP. That is why they aren't really used, and that's why people, if they're going to use like a 540 like this, they go for like Hard's Least. But I still do think that PvP, this is a really solid ass pulse in general, and if it gets good rolls as a solo weapon, you're gonna see this thing purr in PvP. Alrighty, final freaking boss time, of course, against Sepix Prime himself. You just get freaking disabled there for a sec, but you wanted to blast your ass. But yeah, you can kind of see that this pulse rifle, it is just definitely gonna be a really sweet one, as I said. Just something to kind of look at picking up. I mean, it's not as detrimental really as the other weapons to kind of pick up in terms of they're leaving the loot pool. This one isn't, but whilst you're getting them, you might as well get yourself an ARC version of this, even just to stick in the vault. Just even as a trophy, guys, you know, you want to have some weapons that are super unique. And for anyone who doesn't have this, if they wait until next week, of course, when the prophecy gets updated, the only version they're ever going to get is going to be that solo version. So if you want something that's going to be uber unique, that you can kind of just pull out of the vault when they're like, oh, I'll use an ARC weapon, you're going to have this one. It's worth it in that sense. As I said, unique weapons is always kind of what I'm looking at and everything. So it is going to be your last chance really this week to kind of get your hands on it. Now, he's freaking shield. Well, that is it for me. And of course, the Darkest Before pulse rifle itself. I know for a lot of people, this doesn't really need an introduction because you definitely really know it, especially if you're playing like around year 2 or whatever. This thing was a menace at one stage PvP. It had it legit, the base version just had full auto, but this thing could destroy people, and it still can do work PvP. It's just a shame that the prophecy rolls it currently has don't really work PvP very well. But I will say that overall, this Darkest Before, it's really nice. And come, of course, next week when it all changes, the prophecy gets updated and whatnot, it's not going to be ARC anymore, which means that it won't work in certain builds regardless. And you can still focus this. Like you see, I can still make this if I really wanted to. I could still infuse in this. It's not sunset by any means or anything like that, but it is going to turn to a solar weapon, which some people might like. But if you want a nice 540 and not have to use the Hard's Least, which is adept and everything, I know, but if you want to use this sort of pulse because of the sights and everything, it looks nicer or whatnot, it's definitely worth doing the prophecy this week, of course, with it being the featured dungeon, to grind out some rolls. As I said, it can go in really well both PvP, PvE. More so PvE with the rolls you can get from the prophecy dungeon. But as I said, the main reason to try get this now is that it's going to be more of a trophy type thing. I mean, you're not going to be able to get the ARC version pretty much ever again unless they do an Uno reverse and change it back. Once it goes to solar, once weapons change damage types like arc types, whatever, they never go back to what they originally were. So as far as trophies go, this is going to be a trophy worth picking up. As I said, the changes are going to be coming next week, so you have it this weekend or just like the rest of the week or whatnot. But definitely look out for Darkest Before, because as I said, this pulse rifle, it's just an absolute beauty. I know it's more PvE orientated with the rolls it has, but it's definitely worth just even having the vault, because as an arc weapon, it just goes ham. But regardless, if you like the video, show us a like, and you want to see more content, subscribe. Fantastic day, and hopefully I'll see the next collective in the next one.